Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormybman for this Monday, November 17th, 2025. This is number 142 in the series of Nerds, and we are calling this one Breaking Snyderverse. Hashtag Snyderverse restored. We hope, but it is looking up each and every day. We are getting closer. I believe that the comic graphic gods have heard our cries and something is brewing. Even if it's going to be a parallel situation where there will be universes that run concurrently. But let me tell you this, people, there has been news that came down the pipeline over the past 24 to 48 hours that has brightly shined a light upon the darkness that has been with DC Warner Brothers. So we're going to talk about that this evening. I want to say salute to everybody that's out there. Thank you for tuning in and joining us this evening, because this is some hot news, man, hot off the presses. And I've got my partner in crime here to talk about it with me this evening. We got Drew Titan in the building. What's going on with you, Drew? How you feeling this evening, bro?
Remember what Jackie Gleason used to say? Oh, how sweet it is.
Yeah, that was his line, man.
Yeah, man, listen.
Yeah. So
hopefully this isn't April Fool's. Hopefully, this is something that is gonna get seen through. And I'm not gonna reveal the news in reference to who's doing this. I'll leave that to you. It's gonna be funny.
Let's talk about it. You know, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
because that's going to be a surprise for
Yep.
some. I mean, for those of us who, who are on top of this kind of fare, you find out things fairly quickly. And let me remind people before we get too further along to please don't forget to follow myself and also follow Drew over at Rumble.
Yep.
Because I don't know, Drew, if you got a moment that you can put your link for your channel and Rumble in there so people can just, if they haven't done it already, because we're looking to exercise all of our options, and there will be some shows that we do that'll be straight for Rumble, and it won't be over here on YouTube. So, and that's going to be a tremendous shot in the arm and boost to our brands as we do that. So, yeah, I just suggest that you put that out there, because I put mine out there, just reminding people every time I multi-stream. Tonight's broadcast is streaming across 3 of my channels. It's the regular Stormybman channel where this show originated, my Temple of Culture and Entertainment channel, and also the Rumble channel. So we got a trifecta going on here with what we're trying to do out here. So salute everybody. This
Salute
is not
Bernard over there on Rumble, man. Salute.
Yeah, this is not a forced hand, but this is just trying to remind you all that when you have options, you should exercise them, because when you don't, what happens is the window of that type of opportunity goes away, and then you be screaming later down the line, man, I wish we had another way. You know what I'm saying? So people don't realize that, but it's true. I've seen it and experienced it. So I just want to remind you guys to do that, to exercise your options. So that being said, let's get on down into business. I gave Drew a call yesterday, you guys, because if you noticed, there was originally going to be the broadcast where we talked about Logan, the 2017 film that featured elements from Fox that featured elements of the Old Man Logan story with Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. And we were going to do that. That's been pushed to next week because of tonight's news and updates. So I had given Drew a call yesterday and I said, man, I got something that's going to knock your socks off. And he was kind of like, okay, let me hear it. And I'll let you explain your reaction to what I shared with you.
Well, if the sensei was trolling, that would have been like the worst possible scenario, because that's that you don't. All right, look, y'all ever walked into the house and your mama was cooking something, and let's just go there. Let's say it was some fried chicken, and you was playing outside all day, and all you know is you was hungry. You come in and you smell that chicken, you go upstairs, you get all washed up, you're like, ooh, I'm gonna tear up some chicken. And then you get downstairs and you see the grease, but it's cooling down, and you're looking around like, where the chicken at? And then she says, no, that's for the sisters at the church tomorrow.
Ah!
Oh my God. Go on and make yourself some leftovers. That is the now y'all know that's happened to everybody. That happened to me a few
You
times.
ain't never lied, bro.
Oh my God, that is the worst. Well,
Man,
I was being pranked yesterday. That's how I would have felt. But this, look at Bernard. He said, damn, I'm telling y'all know that feeling. You're like, oh, I'm about to tear this up. Nah, it's for church tomorrow. You're like, no. Now you got to eat a bowl of Captain Crunch. It's Captain Crunch. You like it, but it's not the fried chicken you smell. You understand?
Man, that has happened to me. I have to tell you, you ain't never lied, bro.
That is the worst.
Has happened to me.
And I'm just hoping that this is not what we're dealing with here. And I don't think this is fake news because of the source that it came from. Now, it's one thing for the source, for it to have come from that, but I'm gonna let Stormy tell you, not only is the source credible, but when we found out who's backing this, it made it more credible. And I exhaled, bro. You know, wait and exhale. I exhaled. I said, "What? Oh, this is real."
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and spill it, brother. It's your show.
Yes, sir. So, as I presented the news to Drew yesterday, and it was hot off the presses because one of the brothers that I subscribe to on this kind of subject and fare, he dropped it. It came up on my feed, and I was like, wait a minute, I got to go to this article and see it for myself. And the article is from Cosmic Book News. They keep us in the loop about a lot of things that are going on in the cinematic aspect of comic book films, as well as productions and things like that. And the headline spoke yesterday. It was released at 3:17 p.m. by Mac McGlowan. And it says, Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and the Saudis are set to bring back the Snyderverse.
The who?
The Saudis.
Y'all hear that?
And when we say the Saudis, guys, for those of you who follow our content when we cover the sport of boxing, we are talking about the involvement of Turkey Al-Sheikh.
What? You heard the man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey,
None other than the Turkey. Man, let me tell you something. This news is how you know that not only is this kind of it's real, but Turkey has been involved in changing the dynamics of culture and entertainment across the board. For whatever reason, the Saudis have opened themselves up to Vegas, Disney World, festival, concert type entertainment over these past several years. And boxing had been his breakthrough, but he has really gone that route. And so now they are looking to get involved with the purchase of Warner Brothers Discovery and DC. Now, from what I heard, that all that is required now is one more signature to join with what the plan is. And I believe the reason for that is the Saudis don't want to just go straight in there naked by themselves. They want someone else who can handle it from a Western world type vantage point as well, so that they don't be, for lack of a better term, to be blind in what they're doing. But I'm going to say this. You could forget about that woke crap.
That's right.
Because that won't be a part of this. And I will share with you guys the article as I had shared it with Drew yesterday. And it says, on the eve of the anniversary of the theatrical Justice League release, our insiders have reached out with major updates about Zack Snyder, the sale of Warner Brothers Discovery, and what is now being described as a full play scenario for the return of the Snyderverse. Warner Brothers Discovery is officially up for sale, and it's no coincidence that Zack Snyder has been posting nonstop DCEU images and liking fan content on Instagram that compares the performance of his films to James Gunn's struggling DCU projects. The timing lines up with what we have been told. If WBD is sold, James Gunn will be out as head of DC Studios. This comes from the same insider who told us Daredevil Born Again was being completely retooled months before the Hollywood Reporter confirmed it exactly as we reported. It's the same source who has been accurately filling us in on the WBD sale and David Zaslav's plans before the trades caught up. Their track record speaks for itself. Regarding DC, the message from our insider is clear. The Snyderverse is back in play fully. That means Zack Snyder returning to DC not just for a one-off Elseworlds title, but for an actual revival of the universe he started. We're told Christopher Nolan is also a part of the plan to return as executive producer. That's the same Christopher Nolan who backed Snyder on Man of Steel and helped shape the original vision for DC before WB derailed it with studio interference. According to what we have been previously told, it was also Nolan's decision to hand over DC to Snyder. While Snyder has publicly said he wanted to end his DC career with an adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns, we're now told that the impending sale of WBD has shifted everything. He is pivoting toward restoring the Snyderverse outright. If that happens, it implies the return of Ben Affleck as Batman, who publicly rejected working with Gunn's DCU after its announcement, and Henry Cavill as Superman. Fans remember Cavill's widely seen interview with Josh Horowitz confirming his comeback, only for Gunn to immediately upend it. Gal Gadot has also been visibly active supporting Snyderverse posts. None of this is accidental. Even Ezra Miller is making some sort of Hollywood return. We're told Saudi Arabia is now the front runner to acquire WBD. According to our source, they're in the driver's seat with their $1 trillion fund.
Damn.
And here's the critical part. Zack Snyder already works with the Saudis. Snyder and the UFC partnered with Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, chaired by Turki Al-Sheikh, to produce Brawler, an upcoming film Snyder is directing and co-writing. The Saudis trust Snyder's creatively, and he is already tied directly into their entertainment expansion. Our insider says this is exactly why Snyder has been highlighting his Snyderverse work on social media. The signals aren't random. They're building momentum. We're told that Hollywood as a whole is also signing massive new deals with the Saudis, including Trump and figures connected to Trump's circle like his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The kingdom wants major entertainment assets, major franchises, and massive theme park IP. Our source also confirms that the Saudis want massive Universal Warner-themed park as part of their vision for the 2030 initiative. That means the potential to bring DC Universe, Universal Monsters, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, and The Lord of the Rings all under one entertainment umbrella.
Wow.
A fully restored Snyderverse lines up with that ambition. A WBD acquisition gives them everything: DC, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Universal Monsters, and more. Our insider pointed us to comments from Hollywood producer Patrick Caligari, who said he was the first to report Saudi's interest in WBD back in October. According to Caligari, who recently returned from Saudi, the deal is nearly done. He stated that Saudi Arabia's acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery is one signature away from completion, and that the price could reach $70 billion. If true, the sale could close faster than anyone expected, and the Snyderverse could return far sooner than fans ever thought possible. That's the article, people. You can read that at Cosmic Book News. And that right there is something that people who have enjoyed the Snyderverse, the films that were in its inception, we're talking Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, as well as the Zack Snyder produced Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman film. All of those films were a part of the inception of what Zack wanted to do. Because if you take note, he cast most of those actors that played in those projects. And even when we talk about Ray Parker, who played Cyborg, who had a tremendous role in Zack Snyder's Justice League, only to be pretty much cut out of the film by Joss Whedon after Zack had to step away from the Justice League project. And when it was restored in its 4-hour plus glory, Cyborg's story byline, who happened to be the glue for the Justice League, turned out to be a much more significant and important character, and he also happens to be a melanated character. And that's the respect that Zack Snyder has for the IP and also for the true bloodlines of these characters. So you could see why, in order to turn this thing around properly, you got to be true to the source material. And Zack Snyder understood that from the go. So we salute Zack Snyder for what he set in motion, and we salute the Saudis who have declared if they're a part of this, they're definitely bringing him back and on board.
I'm glad that they're giving him creative control. Now look, the Saudis, they're just trying to break into a market. They're broadening their horizons about what's going on down there. The world has a preconceived notion of what the Islamic culture is down there. They're trying to get out of that mold. They're opening up their borders. They're allowing people into their countries. They're not as harsh when it comes to women's dress and things of that nature. They're trying to become more modernized. So one of the things that they're deciding to do is they have people working for them that hear the cries. They're online looking at who likes what's hot, what's not, what could make us more acceptable to the world. And one of the things is entertainment, which so happens to be a very big thing. And there's no doubt in my mind that online they saw this and they said, what's this Zack Snyder guy doing? And what happened with this? What are these quote unquote nerds are talking about? And nerd is not a bad word anymore. And we've been heard. And you know what they're anti? What they're going to stand on? They're anti-stupid ass establishment in Hollywood. That woke culture, I told y'all, it's annoying, but it's not going to be around long. Because the woke culture almost killed Hollywood. What happened was we spoke with our pockets. And we held our bread. I keep telling y'all, Marvel Phase 4, out of all of that work, a decade of work, they almost killed it in 1 year. They almost killed it. And Zack Snyder, they got away from him and they hired James Gunn. And he wanted to reinvent the damn wheel. And it's not a good thing. So thank goodness that they got a hold of Zack Snyder. They talked to him and they said, you know what, we'll back you financially. They're going to purchase everything that they need to purchase. And James Gunn, you're out. Even if they got to cut him a check. So look, we'll give you $1 million to get out of here. Just go, get out of here. You didn't care about it anyway. These directors, they want to put their own personal stamp on it. And while they put their own personal stamp on it, they want to make their own political statement. And I don't care to hear it. Stop making your stupid political statements in my form of entertainment. I don't care if you're gay, don't care if you're straight, don't care if you're a lesbian. I don't care about none of that stuff. But what you're going to do, I would like for you to keep my character's core as core. It's not as core as possible. You can keep the character's core to the comic books. You don't have to change the ethnicity. You don't have to change the sex. Leave everything alone. The stories are already written. They're just, you're not even retelling the story already. Everyone knows Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. You don't have to retell everything. Just add to the story. Read the books. Read what's sold. Rehash some of the stuff that was already in the comic books that made millions of dollars.
And we have over 50 plus years, certain characters even longer because they're older, like Superman and Batman.
Correct.
And Wonder Woman. Those characters are almost 80 plus years old. So you have that many stories that you could go back into through the generations, and they got something what they call like the Silver Age and stuff like that, stuff that hasn't even been touched.
That's right.
And so therefore, to be able to be reliant on source material, when you have well-written stories, that's what puts the audience's butts in seats. And before I speak on my next point on following that, I wanted to acknowledge a Cash App donation for the brother EJ out there. Appreciate you. He says, shout out to Turkey. He got the power of the ninja sword. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you there, EJ.
Yes, sir.
One of the most solid supporters that we have out here in the community, man. You're always there. What I wanted to say too is, in talking about this relying upon source material, you know, Marvel, the reason they got rid of Joss Whedon is because he did try to impact those Avengers films. You know, the first film was successful because it basically wrote itself. It was a coming together of all of the previous characters who had had individual projects, and it turned out to be the first team up. So that was kind of an easy thing because we knew who they were, and then they had to come together, and they came together for a reason. If you guys remember what the reason was, I'll remind you. The death of Phil Coulson. The death of Phil Coulson is what pulled them all together. Now, I've said that, but when we had Age of Ultron, now Ultron is a serious character from the comics with Marvel, and he has returned periodically because you just can't get rid of AI like that once it's been created. And that's why he's such a formidable character. And Ultron even became godlike in the comics as well. So when you look at that, and what Joss Whedon did was he kind of dumbed that stuff down, as he also did with the Hulk. And people didn't really appreciate that. And the Russos, even though they took over the last couple of Avengers films, they continued with that simply because, you know, they didn't really know the characters like that. But Hulk is important. He truly is. And there's going to have to be almost like a retooling and rebooting of his character going forward, because basically Hulk is immortal.
Yep.
And that's a reality that they're going to have to deal with. So with that being said, when these directors, as Drew indicated earlier with his comments, when they get in the way and they try to make it about what they think and not rely on the source material, they can fall heavily, because the source material is there because people read it, enjoyed it, and supported it for generations. And let me say this, though there are women out there who love some of this nerd stuff like we do, they don't formulate the dollar being made. We do. And these executives have allowed that woke stuff to come in and kind of turn things on its end and blew it up for everybody. Because if a man is not going to be invited at the table that he built put together, structured and everything, and he can't sit there and dine, he's going to find someplace else to go. And that's why the box office receipts have been lower. And you got guys who are unapologetically trying to impact and impose themselves, like James Gunn. How can you take a character played by a particular actor that nobody really knew the guy until he played him? So now he's popular all over again, and you just push him to the side like he's nothing, like he did to Henry Cavill. And we talked about that on our air. And then he had the gall to say, well, we never hired him. But he was already there before you got there. And so you just crapped on all the fans. You lied from go that you were asked to do a treatment. No, you came in and asked to do the treatment and not include Henry. So when you said we didn't hire him, no, but you sure as hell fired him. And you fired him under some real janked off mess because the man was told to go out and tell everybody that he was back. And a week later, you told everybody he's not.
Yep.
I have never in my 60 years seen anything like that to any capacity. I've seen bad firings and I've seen people at odds and things, but that was one of the most unprofessional things. And Henry Cavill, with all of the character of a real man, never said a bad word, never did. And he just went on about his business. But look at the world and how it spins, huh? Drew often says it's 360.
That's right.
And the universe is paying James Gunn back right now tenfold. Because if you think when this takeover happens that he's going to be a part of things, he's got bad judgment, people. Not only does he have bad judgment, he's not good. He's got a bad track record. He's got some things that he needs to sort out in his personal life. That was one of the reasons that Marvel fired him. They give him a second chance, and this is what he does. Pay attention.
Salute to Eric Jordan in that Cash App. He says, for the power and fury of the ninja sword, heavyweight. Salute to you, good brother. I'm always supporting. This is a great moment. You gotta understand, everybody gets a chance. All James Gunn had to do was stay loyal to the material. Is that so hard to ask? Stay loyal to the material. And you know how we always say, read the damn room?
Yes.
All he had to do, listen, if you were taking Zack Snyder's job, all you had to do is say, okay, what were the numbers? Who was the cast? You know what? Leave everyone there. But let me just write another story and just put a little twist in it. Let me put my salt and pepper on it and not make it too. Don't reinvent the damn wheel. And that's, y'all really, I don't know if y'all understand.
And you know, when Henry Cavill had played in the Mission Impossible film with Tom Cruise, the director of that film had talked to him on set about doing another Man of Steel film, a sequel. And they had got together with their ideas and everything, and they were going to call the film Man of Tomorrow. And he presented the treatment to Warner Brothers, which they rejected him, right? Now, you understand when you are a writer, producer, director, and you present a treatment to something, a property, to these studios, they have your material. They have it in their possession.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are copyright bylaws and stuff like that, but this is how sometimes things happen. They steal your projects,
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that James Gunn did immediately was, hell be damned whether Superman was popular or not, the film that he produced. He immediately announced, even though the film flopped and lost money, his next project for Superman's return is Man of Tomorrow. And also introducing the character of Brainiac. Now, they can't do the exact story that the gentleman that directed Mission Impossible, forgive me, I forget his name right now, but they can't do the exact story, but they can take elements of it and put it out there. And always remember this about James Gunn. He does not have a creative mind like that. He's been doing that for years through his career, stealing other people's material. The reason that the Batman didn't get its sequel is because he wanted to see exactly how his stuff was going to pan out. Instead of being the CEO, he's supposed to, what do they call it? He's supposed to, divvy out the jobs to the various people and let them do their thing. No, he wanted a total control over everything. That's why The Flash was horrible. He came in and changed the entire story. That film was originally, Ezra Miller playing Flash was supposed to be based on the Flashpoint story. And you guys know that the cartoon is out there. Well, guess what? When James Gunn got through with it, it's what you saw in the theaters, and it was horrible.
It was real bad.
That was not what was shot. Did you guys know that Gal Gadot had a bigger role in that film? So did Ben Affleck's Batman character. So did Henry Cavill's Superman. The last I checked, Henry Cavill wasn't in there, right?
Nope.
But they brought Supergirl in there to switch it over. Why? Because that was that woke stuff that they put in there. When you have a multiverse situation and story like that, and you had Zod return, why did not Man of Steel return? See, it makes total sense of what the man did. And even at the end of the story, it was supposed to be Ben Affleck's Batman, but they changed it when they hired Michael Keaton to be in the project. So they said that they would go with the older, grizzled Bruce Wayne, and he was supposed to be the Batman of the universe when that film ended. James Gunn got a hold of that and changed it and killed Michael Keaton's Batman in the film. The most popular Batman since Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
They killed him.
Yep.
James
How y'all
Gunn.
like that?
But wait,
How y'all like that?
That's not the worst of it. When the story finished, and outside that courthouse, after everything was done, an expensive multimillionaire's vehicle pulls up. It's Bruce Wayne. And he steps out of the car, and it's freaking George Clooney's Bruce Wayne. The most unpopular Batman.
Gayest one. The gayest one.
The most unpopular Batman in the Batman live action films. The most unpopular. And that's what James Gunn did to you guys.
That costume had a thong, bro.
You know what it was like? It was like he doing this to you. That's James Gunn saying, yeah. That's what he did to you. When he took over as CEO, what was his first project? Creature fucking Commandos?
This guy thinks like a 13-year-old boy. A lot of funny colors and great graphics, nice drawings, but no storyline.
When he brought out that film, The Suicide Squad, He brought back some of the same people, but they weren't the same. He changed them to what he wanted them to be. Why not just make a sequel to the Suicide Squad film that came out first? Because he had nothing to do with it. It had some semblance of success. And let me go back and tell you what Warner Brothers did to that film. Jared Leto's Joker had an hour of material cut out of the film. An hour. In other words, he was a major character in the movie. See, this stuff that they've been doing, man, it's over. It's over. They've run it into the ground.
James Gunn is the AIDS of superhero movies. He's a slow killer, but you're going to die. Do you understand? It's because of his interference. Let me ask y'all a question. Let me keep it simple for y'all. Y'all know I like to keep it simple. How hype was y'all at the end of Black Adam when Henry Cavill's Superman showed up? And he said, we need to talk. And you didn't know what happened? Didn't that leave you like, well, something happened? We'll find out in the next movie. And then Henry gets fired. And then The Rock said, F you guys, I'm not doing anything else. Didn't you feel left hanging, whether you liked it or not? Didn't you feel like you was left hanging? Well, no fear. Now with Snyder back in play, you might get at least some answers. And I know what y'all saying. The Rock isn't like, he's lost about 50 pounds. I don't know what he's going on. But listen, they could put him in a Shazam suit and make him brolic. That's okay. But we need to know what the F happened there. We need to know when they lead up to the Dark Side fight, Black Adam has to help the Justice League because he's not good, he's not bad, but if Darkseid is if he's gonna interfere in what he got going on, he's gonna help for the greater good of his own deal here. All those possibilities are reopened, and James Gunn killed that. And I was very upset with that. This is another, what he did was they gave CPR to the Snyderverse. They said, clear, and put the shockers on your chest, and boom, and we're back. That's what they did. That's what they did. Complete the story. This dude came through and put his woke nonsense in it, and it made me hella sick.
When Zack Snyder did his, when they allowed him to complete his Justice League film, you know, General Swanwick turned out to be Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
That was a great underlying story because the character that Swanwick was, being part of the military, the government, and everything like that, means that as an alien himself, he had access to a great deal of things and knowledge of things. So the surprising aspect of his revelation in Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was great. But guess what, people? He was supposed to be that who he was, but we were supposed to get John Stewart Green Lantern. And Snyder and WB stopped him from putting that character in the film. Even though he was written in already, they stopped him. And so Snyder decided to take the John Stewart character and the Hal Jordan character and turn it into a Green Lantern TV series that really doesn't show those characters like they're supposed to truly be. But not only that, we're nearly 8 or 9 years removed from what Zack Snyder had planned for it. So you had that sitting off in the atmosphere somewhere. You just didn't want him to do it, but you did nothing with it once you decided that you were going to produce it. And now the series that they told you that's been shot and completed, it's not even coming out when it's supposed to come out. The film Supergirl is supposed to come out before Lanterns. So Lanterns has been pushed back deep into 2026. You see the games that they play? This
Not
is
with my
why
money.
should be out of there.
Not with my money. Not with my money. You don't have to do it for me. Don't worry.
Bro.
We spoke with our wallets. And thank goodness this is the good part of social media, because before you pulled this stunt in the 80s, you just had to deal with it. You just had a screaming match in your barbershop or on a basketball court, wherever you was, in school, wherever, man, how old you was. Now, everybody has a YouTube channel, no matter how big or small. You can say, "Yo, let me just turn this on your look, man. This the damn James Gunn sucks. This sucks. I'm not buying it." And things go viral when you have enough people, from the smaller guys like us to those guys that talk about the same thing we're talking about with millions of subs. When they say, "Yo, this shit sucks," they're like, "Uh-oh, yes." People, listen. Why do you think Ryan Reynolds clowns on that Green Lantern so much? It was a horrible film. And he got away from it. He clowns it every chance he gets. But you know what? The people have spoken. There's power in the people. And I'm so glad. See, and I'm glad you said that, Stormy. Y'all don't realize that James Gunn killed Michael Keaton Batman? You know, that was a spit in the face. You know, I didn't like that, man.
No, of course not.
Like, I said, why? How do you kill him? That was the worst.
Did you see the audience reaction to him? They act like he never left.
Yep.
Now, Ben Affleck's Batman is great too. I'm not even going to say who is better or whatever, but they're both popular in their own right. But Michael Keaton's Batman has always been popular. Mm-hmm. And the whole phrase, "I'm Batman," that came from Michael Keaton.
Yep.
And when people saw him and they did some stuff with him that we never got to see during the what was the director of his Batman? What's his name?
The same guy that did Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah, Tim Burton.
Was a shocker. That was a shocker.
What we didn't get to see from Tim Burton's Batman was on display a little bit in the film, where you got to see him, all of the multiple bat suits and stuff. Yes. It was like Iron Man's Hall of Armor. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That was so cool. That's what we want. We want to see stuff like that, right? Then he had his little bat plane and stuff, man. It was like, dude, he's back. You know what I'm saying? And we ate it up. And then you kill him?
You know, these guys, that's what they call putting their little spin on something. You kill that Batman. What Batman do? Who was he gonna cast as Batman in his stupid ass verse? Who? We got enough of them.
Dude, do you realize they brought Nick Cage back for that film, Flash film, and Nick Cage was hired to do some stuff. He was supposed to be watching his character of Kal-El, Superman, was supposed to be watching the destruction of the multiverse, the universe. What he shot on set in the studio didn't even make it into the film. They used a CGI AI Nick Cage from Superman Lives. That was the film he was supposed to do as Superman. In the early 2000s, Nick Cage was cast as Superman, and he was supposed to be in a film, directed by what's the brother's name, man? The guy used to be like a comedian. Dang, can't think of his name right now. But he was supposed to be in that film, and he had long hair, like the Superman in the comics that came back after Doomsday.
Yes.
When he had the long mullet.
Yes.
That was Nick Cage was supposed to be playing that version of Superman. He even had a costume that had these graphics in it and stuff. Like you could see little silhouettes of stuff moving around in the costume. It was kind of freaked out. But what he shot for that film didn't make it into the film. They put something totally different in there and just showed his face with his hair blowing in the wind.
He was fighting some giant crab or something.
A spider.
Spider, yeah.
John Peters, the producer, who used to be Barbara Streisand's old flame, he had told them that whatever they did with Superman, he got to fight a giant spider. And that's what I'm trying to think of. My man, he got a YouTube channel too. What's the guy's name that he used to be heavy set, but he had to lose a lot of weight because he was gonna have a heart attack or something, and he had bad heart valve trouble. But he wears the baseball cap turned backwards. I can't think of his name right now. Chad, help me out. Because they commissioned him.
You talking about Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah, that dude. What's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? With the beard.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the director and writer of that Superman film, and John Peters told him, Kevin Smith, thank you, God bless, man. You know how sometimes you will have stuff going on in your head, you just can't remember something. I couldn't remember Kevin Smith's name.
Yeah, I just thought Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah.
No disrespect to Kevin Smith because he's cool, but I was trying to remember his name and I couldn't. But Kevin Smith, he actually did a stand-up routine where he talked about when he was commissioned to write the treatment for Nick Cage's Superman Lives. And he's talked about how the producers wanted this weird stuff. We want to see Superman, but we don't want to see him fly.
What?
We want him to fight a giant spider because spiders are the deadliest creatures in the universe. This John Peters, who was an executive producer, this dude was really weird. I think he did a lot of alleged drugs or something because his mind didn't work real well, man. But he wanted the weirdest stuff in the film. And then they were going to have Brainiac in there, and Brainiac was going to look like a spider. And you know Brainiac don't look like that. His head attached to a crab-like body with arms and stuff. It was crazy. Listen, Kevin Smith was like, man, I'm so glad I
get out of here with that.
And he actually released the script online, and you could read it. You could go out there and read it. Superman Lives by Kevin Smith. Man, the stuff that they had, but they told him Superman is good, but we don't want to see him fly. So he don't fly in that script. He don't fly. How? Can you believe that? The Warner Brothers have had crazy people in their ranks for a long time, bro. For a long time.
Lexia says, did we win? We did, according to the latest article. We read it at the top of the show. What you need to know is the Saudis are behind this. That means it's real money. Zack Snyder's already working on a project, so they're not new with him or his work. And they've pretty much heard the audience plea. So it looks like they're going to make a power move, and James Gunn's going to get removed, and Zack Snyder is back in play. So it appears that we've won. So yeah, I'm taking it as confirmation, and speak it, believe it, receive it. And this is what it's getting all over the internet. It's getting positive reviews. People tolerated this last Superman movie. I'm going to tell you that the dope scene was Mr. Terrific. That was a dope ass scene. Outside of that, I don't care. But I can do without it.
Let me say this, and I still haven't seen the movie, and I'll never watch it. Mm-hmm. How can you have a dope scene in the Superman film and it don't be Superman.
That's 100% true.
Seriously.
100% true.
I'm talking about Superman.
100%
Superman is upstaged by everybody else. What's the fucking point of having Superman?
That's ridiculous. And you know what I would like to see Zack Snyder do? He should outdo James Gunn. Just fuck that. I'm being petty. Mock him. That guy that played Mr. Terrific did a really good job. Take him. Recast him as Mr. Terrific in the Snyderverse. We go on and take him and just make him a little more. Well, he was serious in that, but there was a lot of like jokes in that. Make him a little more serious, but just take him. Don't even recast him. Take him. You know, I mean, I'm just excited. You know, we're probably going to get to see or learn about what happened when Superman met up with Black Adam. Maybe there was no fight. Maybe they had a conversation. Okay, well, you stay here on your land and you do your thing, but don't leave here. You know, and when Darkseid's about to kick everyone's ass, that gives Black Adam. Then he flies in and he comes in and him and Superman start kicking his ass. Something like that. But those options are open now. And I ain't got to worry about this stupid James Gunn thing. This was stupid. This James Gunn universe was so ridiculous. And I'm just glad it's gone.
He gave us a whole bunch of crap that nobody wanted, bro. Nobody wanted Creature Commando. Nobody wanted Peacemaker.
I wanted to give him. I wouldn't even give him. I need help from the chat. There was this Marvel group, and it is the corniest, most fugazi. It's a team of superheroes, but they're kids, and they're named after internet slogans. One kid's name is Safe Space. They're named after internet slogans, and I wouldn't even give James Gunn the assignment to make that into a 5-part miniseries and throw it up on Disney or wherever they put it up on. I wouldn't even make him do that, because those things, I wouldn't even give him an annoying project. Go away, dude. Just leave the superhero shit alone, bro. It's over for you. It's over for you. Go somewhere and do you know what you do? Get all the way in touch with the woke community and do films for them. But stay your ass over there, man. Stay away from us. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of these guys because you live in your life and, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. Don't bring it to my superhero universe here. DC, Marvel. Yo, look, leave it alone. I don't need to know who people are banging unless it's detrimental to the story. I don't need to know that.
And orgies don't have nowhere or space or time in DC fare. It doesn't. What is that all about? You putting your weird perversions out there. I heard about it. Thank God I didn't see it myself.
Man.
But from what I heard, I'm like, oh, he like that. Oh, he likes it. He wants to see that. He wants to get off on that. And that this kind of stuff. Man. And you hire actors and actresses so you can put them in these kind of compromised positions and stuff like that. Dude, get out of here. That's not what we want. And you can't even make a damn character be true to the source. You cannot do it to save your freaking life.
That's right. And you know what sucks?
Superman doesn't go around yelling at Lois Lane and all of that kind of stuff and being all emotional and everything. It's ridiculous what he did.
It's horrible. What sucks is that the Peacemaker series, season 1, I liked it. Season 2, I had to fast forward that first episode. I had to fast forward. Season 2, the storyline, when you figured out what was going on, you're like, oh, snap. But god damn it, man. He went overboard. He didn't waste no time. I shouldn't be watching something, and I got like my favorite sandwich, and I'm about to watch it, and boom, there's penis flagging around in the damn thing. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta fast forward some of that. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, man. Keep that woke garbage to yourself. Get out of here, man. And sidebar, you know what else I had to stop watching? I told you to watch The Boys, right? They got a spinoff called Gen V. Don't even bother watching this, Stormy, because there was so many pause moments in there. I just cut it off. I was like, come on, man. Come on.
No, see,
There's
this
so
is what
many,
they try
so
to
many
do.
pause moments.
They try to get you in. They want to get you across that threshold.
Yeah.
And when they get you across that threshold, they slam the door behind you, and now you're in a room and you're exposed to all of this weirdness and perversion and everything. And that's not what you signed up for.
Right. It's not, man. It's not. I literally had to stop it. I'm trying to watch the superhero shit because The Boys comic book is real deep. Now, there was a situation in The Boys comic book that translated into the series, and they actually had to tone it down in the series. But it was one situation and it was over. And then Boys, I think season 2, the first episode, I said, these dudes is really trying my patience. I hate having to fast forward past the super gay shit. And then in Gen V, y'all, that character that turns into a man and a woman, I was like, I give up. I gave up. I said, no. They're doing too much. I know everyone behind that, thanks to you freakazoids, I know what you do in your bedroom. I don't care. Stop telling me. Stop doing that. Jesus Christ, man. It's stupid, man. Yeah, it was called Hero-gasm. That shit was crazy. They could have skipped it in the live action, man, but it was ridiculous, man. But man, I'm just glad that this clown is out. I'm glad this clown is out. And I'm calling him a clown because you ruined it. You understand, by now, we could have been a movie and a half up. We could have been a movie up, another Justice League movie up, and maybe another spinoff. We could have been a Justice League movie up and a Black Adam 2 up, or a Man of Tomorrow up. You understand? Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff.
Bernard is over there on Rumble asking who is worse, Waititi or James Gunn. They are the same. If left unchecked, they bring all of their perversions in. Look at what James Gunn has done, especially with Peacemaker and Superman and Supergirl. Don't forget what he's done with that character. And then you look over at Taika Waititi and you look at what he did with Thor, Love and Thunder. Talking about orgies and all of this stuff, stripping Thor butt naked and all of that. Dude,
there was a dumpling god. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I was annoyed with that, man. I was annoyed with that whole film, man.
And the whole the rock guy telling the kids that they go to the bottom of a mountain and lava volcano and hold hands to reproduce and all of it. It's like, what?
And
Dude.
then you find out that they're asexual, but they're more male asexual. You gotta hold hands. And at the end, the other rock creature he got a hold of looked like Freddie Mercury. And what do we know about Freddie Mercury, y'all? He was a flamer. And why was he teaching the kids?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? These guys
remember me pointing that out to you? Because it went over your head, right?
It went right over my head. I was like, wait a minute, you're right. Why the fuck was he teaching the kids? And you want to know what else? It just dawned on me. Remember when he got shot and got blown into pieces and we thought he was dead? But it just takes, his face was still alive. It just takes him a while to reproduce, like to get his bearings back.
Yeah.
That's to say that they're here, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was that message.
Yeah.
You know, it's it was disgusting. Disgusting. And I'm glad it's gone. I need Zack Snyder to go. You got pretty much an unlimited bet. Did they say $1 trillion? And they want to make a water park? They want to make this a thing. Like, I don't know when's the last time you've been to an amusement park, but I've been to Universal Studios. I've been to the new one they got in Orlando, Epic. Those are theme parks based off of these characters.
In movies and stuff, yeah.
Right. And in Universal Studios, Stormy, it's marveled out.
Do they still have the King Kong thing?
Yeah, it's better now. When I went down there the year it first opened, and it was the Robot Kong, and he's grabbing the train, and he's in New York. Now, it's totally different. You're on Skull Island, and they do more 3D work, and he's fighting Tyrannosauruses off your van and everything. And they left the old Machine Kong. When you leave and go around the corner, he's there looking at you. It's the robotics. It's funny. You're like, oh shit, you know, and he smelled like bananas. But
you know, I just last night I was watching King Kong Escapes, and they got the Robot Kong in there.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Last night I was watching that.
Great, man. They got the Spider-Man ride there. And it's all 3D. He jumps on your car, and Dr. Octopus, the tentacle comes at you, and it's like this close, and you feel the heat blowing. It's crazy stuff that they do there, but it's Marvel. So what it sounds like is Turkey is trying to create a park, probably in Saudi.
Yeah,
and it's going to be DC'd out. You know, but hey, man. He wants to make a thing of it, and I'm with that. I like it. And get this clown the F up out of there. Let's work, Zach. Let's work. Get all this woke shit out of here, man. It's annoying as hell, man.
You know, Darkseid is chasing the anti-life equation. Can somebody explain what the anti-life equation is for me? Do you know what it is, Drew?
I saw it on I don't know in full definition, but it was mentioned on the crisis that they had on Pix 11 out here, when they were crossing up all the universes.
Does anybody in the chat know what the anti-life equation is that Darkseid covers? Because I'm trying to figure out so I can understand that. You know, he had mentioned it in the Justice League film to what's his name? The silver dude, the character, Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, yep.
That's what they were looking.
Oh, there go my brother Aaron Brooks, man. Salute, bro. How you? That's the fam right there.
Adrian Villa says the anti-life equation can bend any free will in the universe. In Death of the New Gods, it's one of the parts of the source. Okay.
Yeah, this guy is on some Darkseid is on some Thanos-ish. You know what I mean?
I think he may be deadlier than Thanos. Though.
He is. They talk about it often. He is. He is.
And I like the design of him in Zack Snyder's universe. I like that. The fiery eyes, and dude, he looks like, you know.
They nailed it.
Yeah.
They nailed it, man.
That was so cool.
You know what happened to me about an hour ago? We had some eggnog in the fridge. I said, oh, we'll get some eggnog.
Oh, no.
It was there when I got in the house. I went in there. The wife and the kids come home, and I don't cook dinner. So I said, let me get some eggnog before I get on this live with Stormy. I go in the fridge. I said, oh, and I look in the garbage. There it is. And I just stuck my head in the living room, and they just all looked at me. They knew what I was looking at. I said, man, you know what? Can't stand y'all sometimes. I just wanted a shot, just a shot of eggnog. I can't have that. Man, my life is painful sometimes. I can't get no damn
Final
eggnog.
Crisis number 7. Darkseid used it to have all humans in Earth have a single unified consciousness. All humans as Darkseid. That's why he taunted Superman that he can't do anything on him. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
See, there's another aspect of Superman about that and talking about bending wheels, because in Zack Snyder's Justice League follow-up story, he's supposed to use the anti-life equation on Man of Steel. And I think that's supposed to turn him evil. And he's Superman gonna be doing Darkseid's will bidding. But the other side of Superman that has yet to be explored cinematically, and it's there to be done, is that he has super intellect and he can solve problems and stuff like with his mind. Like we saw a little element of that in Captain America when the original film, where Steve Rogers, after he had rescued some of the soldiers and brought them back to the home base, and he was going over what he had seen in the campgrounds of Hydra, and they had a whole table map out there, and he was marking and check marking stuff off. And I saw this and this and that, and he was, I'm sorry, I only got a quick look. And Peggy looked at him and was like, with everything that you told us, that's enough. He's like, but that was supposed to be that super soldier serum, you know. He had photographic memory or whatever. He sees something, you know what I mean? But you know, Kal-El is like that too. He's supposed to have super intellect, and we haven't seen that on display yet. But it'll be great, because I do believe Cavill, along with someone like, you know, Christopher Reeve, when he was around, they could convey that on screen, because he doesn't come across as like an idiot or a guy that's, you know, low intellect. He
right.
Cavill strikes me as someone who could be, you know, very sharp when it comes to that kind of thing, and I would look forward to him being able to portray that on screen.
The endless possibilities, man. But this was great news, man. This was such great news, man. I'm over the moon when you told me this, man. I was like, oh man, already 2026 going into 2027. It's up, man. This is gonna be great, and you know it's official because they talking about amusement parks, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, this is gonna be great. And I don't like flying, but if they open up a theme park with a DC, with a DC theme in it, because I'm telling y'all, if y'all never been to Universal Studios Florida, the Marvel exhibit over there is out. If you're a true comic book nerd, the Marvel the Marvel exhibit there is outstanding. When you're going through the Daily Bugle, not the Daily Planet, that's Superman. The Daily Bugle where Peter Parker works. It's like you're walking into a comic book. And you see the desk, and you see the names on the desk there, some of your favorite comic book characters, and it's great, man. It's great. And you feel like a kid in there. So I can only imagine what they have planned for DC. I will go to Saudi just to have a look at that, man. And I hate flying, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, that would be awesome to be able to just get that captured, you know.
Absolutely. Well, I got the boogie. I got to get ready for pep talk tonight.
Okay, final thoughts, bro.
Man, this is great. This is great. This is us for the win. This is why we do what we do here, because you never know who's listening. You never know who's listening. They don't only listen to the giant channels, they listen to us because we spend the money. We get online and we do the promoting by talking about it. We generate an audience. You know,
Yeah, we got a couple names that were in the chat this evening that I hadn't seen before,
that's
and I
right.
welcome them. You know,
And
it's like,
salute to y'all. Salute to
yeah,
y'all for
salute.
real.
You know, but this is what we do Monday nights, Nerds on Culture. You know, we're talking DC tonight because of the, you know, the news that broke, but we're constantly talking about our beloved comics and the films and even that plus more. But yeah, you're more than welcome. Stick around, you know.
Yeah, it's some great stuff. This is great news.
Next
And
week we got Logan because
about
we were
Logan next
supposed to
week.
do
Yeah.
Logan tonight, but because this news broke, we wanted to be on top of it right away. So
Yes, sir. So salute to y'all. Stormy, another slam dunk. Logan next week. You know what I mean? Y'all catch me on the Painful Excellence podcast in about 10 minutes. And you're on vacation, right, Stormy?
man, I'm gonna take one.
Hey, man. Yeah. And I'm putting out a Patreon video tonight on Floyd Money May. And I definitely, what I have to say about that guy, it definitely is not for the ears of YouTube. Maybe Rumble, but no, I'm gonna have to get it raw and uncut. So if you follow me on Patreon, y'all go ahead over there. Pep talking about 9 minutes, man. Salute to y'all, man. Salute to everybody, and I'll catch you on the rebound.
All right, peace to you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right. Man, what a time to be a DC supporter, to hear this great news that there are going to be changes. It hasn't totally happened yet, but it is in the cards. And that's what we want to see. We want there to be uh we want there to be something that can be projected for all of us that support the IP. It's imperative that we show appreciation, which is why we did this show this evening. So for those of you who are going to be online for longer, please take the positive energy over to Pep Talk, where Drew will be establishing that on the half hour. So with that being said, I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. I appreciate everybody that joined us this evening. And if you came in late, catch the replay, man, because it's a great show. We had great conversation. Peace to everybody, and we'll see you next week when we hit up on Logan from 2017. Thanks for tuning in.